YouTube Kikos. In accordance to what has been happening recently with the entire Nintendo pricing thing and the new Switch, Chat told me to watch this video from Dunkey from 3 years ago because it's still relevant to this day and age. So yeah, let's see what he has to say about it. Video game pricing. It's Piper.
Video games are an expensive hobby, but at the same time, games are cheaper and more accessible today than ever before. When the Atari 2600 launched in 1977,
How fucking old is he? How old is Dunkey? Holy fuck, 1977, bro.
cost $200. With
What? $200? Yeah! That is literally like in right now, that's the equivalent of fucking a 1.2k or something, 1.5k. Dude, that's fucking insane. That's so expensive.
which doesn't sound too horrible until you adjust for inflation and realize that
I told you. That is crazy. Also, 2021. I told you this video is from 3 years ago. By now, it would literally be 1.2k, 1.3k. Like, dude, no joke. That is fucking insane.
that was like it costing $900.
That is
Imagine paying
insane.
$900 to play this.
You're joking.
Some game, huh?
You're joking. You're joking.
$60. This is what you expect to pay for a brand new AAA video game. But where did this price come from? Well, in those initial Atari days, games were going for $20 to $30. So pretty good deal. Wait a minute. What the fuck? $120 for Plaque Attack? Oh no! $120 to play Oink. Oink, ladies and gentlemen. $120 to play Tax Avoiders. Why did you have to avoid paying your taxes? Because video games cost $120. God damn. Jump to NES times. Games are now $60, which was like $150. Jesus Christ. However, that price point would remain.
Keep in mind that is like he keeps on showing the amount that it would be in 2021. It is 2025 right now, so yeah, it should have increased by quite a bit.
At 60 going into future console generations. So
At the same time though, I understand the reason why the pricing has not increased that much. It's because technology is so much more like accessible right now. It's basically become part of like day-to-day life. And I know that a lot of people are gonna be like, but Mifu, the prices of graphics cards are insane. And like we've been having like these like really big issues with chips and stuff, and we don't have enough microchips, and it's getting really expensive for like manufacturers to get their hands on them and make them and blah blah blah. That's true. That is true. I do agree with that. But at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that technology is a lot more accessible right now than it is back then. Right now, if you do not have a smartphone, people are literally going to look at you like you're fucking insane. Like they're going to be like, how the fuck am I going to contact you then? Like what, send a pigeon? Letters? Hell no. Like, dude, so I get that it was going to be expensive, right? I understand that. But at the same time, I do think that $60 for a game, even $70 right now, is still a good price because of how mainstream it is. Like back then, the amount of families that would be able to afford an Atari would be like what? 1 in 50? 1 in 100? Maybe less? But right now, there is like, dude, every single person in your fucking grandma is playing games this day and age. So like the amount of people that they have access to is a lot bigger than it was back then. Right now, every single person in your like close circle is playing games. But like back in the day, it was like, oh my god, you have a game console? Like the entire fucking neighborhood would freak the shit out when you had a game console, and all of the kids would come play at your house and shit like that, right? So like, yeah, I don't know.
While the value of the dollar dropped, video games were subtly becoming cheaper with each passing year, except when they try to sell Turok for $80 for Turok. What? There better be over 80 dinosaurs in this game. $60 is still a lot of money today, but for a top-of-the-line video game that you are going to play and enjoy for the rest of your life, a work of art that developers poured years of their lives.
The rest of the life, I'm gonna be completely fair, right? For me, I really like games that are like, how do you say that? Server-based. So games like Final Fantasy, games like fucking World of Warcraft, right? When it comes to MMOs, games like HSR and Genshin and stuff like that, right? Wuthering Waves, because of the fact that they get updated continuously. Like, yes, I'm gonna be able to get 100 hours out of fucking Persona 5, Persona 4, Persona 3, whatever you want to say, right? But at the same time, after those 100 hours, it's not as if the game that I'm playing is going to change at all. It's not going to change the content. It's not going to change the story. It's not going to add any extra things to it. I'm going to play it once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times if you're fucking insane, but I'm not that type of person. And then I'll move on, right? It's not as if it's going to be that crazy that it's replayable like forever and ever and ever. For instance, like Minecraft and stuff, that's playable forever and ever and ever as much as you want, right? Because like, yeah, it's like, it's a replayable game. The worlds are generated. They are different at all times. Then you get to try it again and play it again. But that's not the case for Mario or fucking Donkey Kong in this instance. Like, you're gonna play the levels, but the levels are never going to change. It's not as if you're going to be seeing different enemies. You're just going to be playing it faster and faster. Like, hey, I'm going to beat my record. But I don't know. What's the point? Like, a lifetime is a little bit too much, Dunkey. I'm not going to lie.
$60 for that? That's just a good deal. The joke is, how many $60 games meet that criteria? These dumbass games out here, you should be paying me $60 to play this bullshit. The price of a game has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of a game. Madden costs as much as Mario Odyssey. Assassin's Creed is $60, and Red Dead 2 is $60. Cyberpunk is an unfinished game. Doesn't matter, $60. Doom Eternal is one of the best shooters of all time. Also $60. It's like if you walked into a car dealership and you could buy a Rolls Royce for the same price as a used PT Cruiser. Where it gets even more absurd is when you take into account indie games, Celeste, Cuphead, Sonic Mania.
No, he's completely right.
These are some of the best games you can play, and
they're some of the best games that you can play, and at the same time they're affordable and you can play them with friends, and they're like really, really high quality. Like, dude, that's the thing. That's why I think that Power World and Lethal Company and like Rebel right now, a lot of these like recent indie games became popular is because they're affordable, that more people are able to play them and have access to them, and that's why they're able to share it with their family, with their friends, tell them to buy the game, play it with them. That's helping like the games grow.
I don't know. $20. Meanwhile, Metal Gear Survive is $30. Sonic Forces was $40. Balan Wonderworld was $60. What the fuck are these prices? They're just picking an arbitrary number out of Balan's golden hat.
Oh, man.
Marketing will forever manipulate gamers into wanting to buy the brand new cutting edge game, even when there's nothing new about the game, because it's all built on recycled technology from years ago.
Yeah.
My question is, why is everyone in such
the Cyberpunk 2077 early videos are fucking insane. Like,
rush to play a new shitty game that isn't even finished yet, that cost a lot of money, when you motherfuckers haven't even played any of the classics that have been out for years? Why are you trying to play?
You know why? Because they're complaining about the graphics, and of course they will. Like, people see old stuff and they're like, ew, I wasn't even born back then. I'm not gonna touch this.
Mass Effect Andromeda when you haven't even played Mass Effect 2. Why are you buying
like, honestly, I understand where your Donkey is coming from, but how old is he? No, seriously, how fucking old is he? Because he was raised with those super old games. He grew up playing those. But right now, if you tell a Gen Alpha fucking 10-year-old kid to play any of the games that he's listing right now, they're gonna spit in your face. They're gonna be like, no, I'd much rather play Fortnite and Roblox. What the fuck is wrong with you, Dunkey? Dude, ain't nobody be playing stuff like this. Like, no. That's the sad thing, is that the new generation doesn't give a shit about all that. They just want graphics. They just want their pretty shiny game to look nice.
Metal Gear Survive when you haven't even played Metal Gear Solid? Why are you buying any game when you haven't even played Mario Galaxy yet? You big bitch. I feel like I just have to start showing up at GameStops at this point. When I see somebody pick up a dumbass game, I just knock it out of their hand like, no, no, go pick a better game.
Coffee back.
God of War is $17. Uncharted is $16. Doom is $25. Phantom Pain is $18. Devil May Cry is $23. So don't let me catch you out here spending $70 on Lawn Mowing Simulator like I know you will.
What? What do you mean $70? No, but seriously, was this actually $70 back in the day? In 2021, was Lawn Mowing Simulator fucking $70? There's no way. I refuse to believe it.
I will come down on you for doing some bullshit like this. Even good games drop in value fast. Ubisoft junk even faster. More than ever, video games are fighting over your money, and as the industry grows, so do your options as a consumer.
Ew.
Now, when I said games drop in value fast 2 seconds ago, I was talking about every game that isn't made by Nintendo. Nintendo games are expensive. Skyward Sword is a 10-year-old Wii game, $60. Mario Kart came out in 2014, doesn't matter, $60. Why are they so expensive? Because it says Nintendo on it. Nintendo is the name brand in video games.
Literally. And the worst part though is that now that Nintendo has decided to put $90 price tags, everybody else is gonna be like, oh my god, Nintendo senpai, he said the word raise the prices, raise them all. And it's like, dude, what the fuck?
Games. They have one,
Stop
two, three,
sucking
four,
off
five
Nintendo boys.
games, which could be considered the pinnacle of their genre. Not to mention 3D platformers,
I love
which you
Nintendo
might as well
games,
just
but
call
dude,
the
they're so
3D Mario
expensive. It's
game
insane.
genre at this point. Not only is Nintendo the best game
Like, they
developer today,
never
but
have
they
sales.
have been for 4 decades. And this is how they get away with selling Kirby for $60. Nintendo games are not created equally, but they are sold as equals.
They
Mario
are.
Odyssey is $38, and Splatoon 2 is $55.
Dude.
And I just gotta sit here and say, okay, while I would gladly pay $100 for a game as good as Pikmin 3, I feel disgusted and insulted when you ask $60 for Pokemon Sword. Get the fuck out of here.
So
I'll
real,
give you $1
dude.
for the-
Back when this released, I was like, you know what? I don't really play a lot of Pokemon games. I haven't played one since Sun. I hadn't played a fucking Pokemon game since Sun on the fucking 3DS. But I was like, you know what? Let's try and see. Let's see what this is all about. Let's try out the new fucking Pokemon game on the Switch. It was so garbage, and it only got worse from then. It only got worse. It's insane. Like, what? What do you mean the same company that created fucking Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and fucking insane games created the fucking Pokemon Sword game? What is this? What is this? Learn how to fucking, dude, no, it's so bad. It's so bad. And I want to like it. I really do.
Have you ever heard the expression, the best things in life are free? League of Legends, Valorant, Fortnite, all of the best video games are free. Wait, the $60 annual franchise is now a dinosaur. Call of Duty and Battlefield are higher quality games, but they've monetized in such an exploitive way that people are flocking to free-to-play titles instead. Why pay
Yeah, why would you pay money for a game where you can get the same thing for free? Yeah, no, I get that.
$60 for a game with a 1-year lifespan when they're still updating Fortnite with free content years later? Then you got
And they
Overwatch
still are.
over here, $40 for a game that is 10 times more polished and replayable than any Call of Duty or Battlefield, and they added how many characters and maps to
Okay, stop glazing Overwatch. It's dead. It's 2025, Dunkey. Move on, move on, move on.
that game over the years. And now Halo Infinite is going free to play. $60 for this bullshit? This is over.
Happy New Year, Xbox.
Now, back in my day, this must have been around 1910, there was a rental store called Blockbuster. Blockbuster had a deal called Game Pass, where you could pay a monthly fee to keep out 1 or 2 games, and you could come in.
What? That's so cool. You could rent games in the past? You're fucking joking. I thought that movie rentals were the only thing that existed. Renting games. What if they get scratched though? What if they scratch the games?
Whenever you wanted and swap them out for another game.
Wait,
Back
that's
then,
so
this was
sick.
the best way to game the system. I remember Blockbuster always had
Oh
that
my
movie
gosh.
Pirates, and it didn't have Johnny Depp in it. I think this was a different version of the movie. Today,
What movie is that? What movie is that?
that deal lives on as the Xbox Game Pass. For $15 a month, you can get access to a pretty decent library of games. I think it's something like 300 games, and there is some really good stuff in here. The only
Dude, Celeste, fucking Katana Zero, Hollow Knight, Ori, Halo, fucking Doom Eternal, dude, Yakuza, dude, this is insane, Final Fantasy.
really good stuff in here.
That's
The
really
only thing
good.
wrong with the Xbox Game Pass is that the second I recommend this to people, You already know snake-ass Microsoft is gonna triple the price on this thing.
Of course. Of course.
Sadly, many of the best video games out there are not available on any modern devices. Say you want to play a Sega Saturn game. Well, first you're gonna need
Sad.
the console. What the fuck? And then the game. Let's look for Panzer Dragoon Saga. $1,700. Now remember when I said that games drop in value? We are at a point where remastered versions of games are now outdated. Metal Gear Solid 4 is still only playable on the PS3. Ridge Racer? That doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Do you mean Renzo Racer? Good. GoldenEye? What the fuck is Golden? Are you talking about Golden Tee? That's not a real game. I think you're thinking of the Watch Dogs 2 Golden City bundle. Tekken 3? Are you talking about the Tekken 7 Season Pass 3? Beautiful Joe. What? You mean Joe's Diner? Emulation is pretty much the only practical way to get at classic games. If it's on...
What I hate the most as well is like these companies tell you like, oh, you're not allowed to emulate it. You're not allowed to do that because if you do that, we're gonna bonk you. We're gonna remove you from YouTube. We're gonna remove you from Twitch. We're gonna send you death threats on your emails. And it's like, it's like, dude, but you're not making it available for us to be able to get these like games ourselves anymore. Like you just cannot find them anymore.
Arcade NES.
In Japan, you can get jailed for dude. You can get jailed for that? That's crazy.
NES, Genesis, PS1, Game Boy, DS, PS2, N64, or GameCube. You can probably emulate it. Now, this may or may not technically be legal, but this is just a straight up fucking crime.
Yeah,
and
like
what's
how?
nice about emulating games is that they're all free. Remember, back in the 70s, this was
Me personally, I feel like it's okay to emulate games if you already own the game or you've owned it in the past. Like for instance, if your mom and dad had this fucking, I don't know what the fuck this game is, bro. I don't fucking know. If you had this game when you were a child, your mom and dad had it, and then you became older and they sold it at a fucking garage sale, and they were like, you know, they didn't ask you about it or anything, and now you're like super nostalgic and you want to play it, sure, fucking emulate it. You purchased it once already. Doesn't matter if you purchased it 20 years ago or fucking 2 days ago, you still owned it. Right? You bought it with your own money, so you should be able to play whenever the fuck you want. Activision is that fucking... Oh my god! Activision Blizzard? Oh my... That's insane. So yeah, honestly, personally, I feel like emulation should be completely fine as long as you have proof that you own the item beforehand.
7 kilobyte file.
Damn. What is this?
Are cheeseburgers really this bad for your teeth?
Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for watching, YouTube Kikos. I would love to know what your opinion on this entire like thing is, honestly, with the like Nintendo prices and game prices and everything that's going on right now. I already mentioned it. Me personally, I feel like games should not be a specific price 100% of the time. I do feel like some games are worth it more than others. In the case of Nintendo, it's really weird because they are Nintendo, so they just price things whatever the fuck they want. But there is a discrepancy to how like quality works in the game. So like having everything be priced at like $90, $80, $70, I feel like is not worth it. That's not good. But hey, you know what? I'd love to know what you guys think about it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys again in the next one. And don't forget to sub and maybe drop a little like if you haven't already. Bye-bye!